A few of you have asked if I could narrate more of my beacon response videos, and I'm more than happy to do that to provide more context so you don't have to try to squint at the chat or figure out what's going on screen without knowing that I'm pushing the same button 52 times to try to get it to work. So right now I'm responding from Siege of Orison to Yella for a medical beacon for a player named Memento that has sat untaken for probably about 10 minutes. And if you're willing to wait and nobody's taken your beacon yet, then I will show up as fast as I can. And of course, it's sprinting all the way, it's boosting all the way, it's cruise control, it's whatever you can do to make best speed to that down player so that they don't have to wait forever. There was a little suspicious chat about be careful not to get murked. Now, while 99.9% of beacons are not traps, griefs, or anything else, in spite of what anyone says, they're not. You still exercise an air of caution. So Carpathius is helping me out. I rescued them about a month ago, and when they're in the server with me, they're extremely helpful. They tend to always ask if I need a hand with whatever, and I'll accept whatever backup I can get. And it's fun. It's fun to do things with other players. A lot of people don't like that. Hey, that's your preference, but I happen to enjoy it. Right now, I've asked Carpathius to just hang out in the air. They'll be shoring up the area I absolutely suck in, which is dogfighting or really anything ship related. I can take off and I can land, and that's the extent of my capabilities. And by and large, that's pretty okay for what I do on a regular basis. So already approaching, you can see two ship markers on the screen. They're white dots, so either they've been recently abandoned or they've been there for weeks. I'm not really sure how PES works, so that's something to be aware of, but it is not unusual to see multiple signatures from ships at a bunker or really anywhere else that gets frequented by players. I'm going to come in for a nice soft landing. Now, I've forgotten my STV. Normally, I would back straight out of this thing, drive right over this hill, and take the most direct route to the bunker and the down player. In this case, without a vehicle and without really knowing what's going on, I'm just going to take a little bit of a longer route going around this hill. Again, if you're approaching bunkers, especially with the recent bunker changes or upcoming bunker turret changes, I'm not sure if they're in the PU yet. They're supposed to be better turrets. Hey, look, if you get in a server with a low population and a high server FPS, those turrets will probably give you a run for your money, especially if you're a lousy pilot like myself. So you always want to land behind some sort of terrain feature that's large enough to block the turret fire. If you're able to carry a vehicle in the back, especially if you're doing beacons, it is a huge time saver and a courtesy to the player that you're going to rescue. Don't make people wait if you don't have to. If you know you have a slow ship, you don't have upgraded components, you got things to do before you leave, you got to go shopping, you got to let the dog out, you have no ammo, you don't have a med gun, don't take a beacon. If you're new and you want to get into them, maybe try to find an org or that specializes in that, like Rescue Squad 1's a really good one. Um, or feel it out, tag along with a medic in the server. Beacons sometimes are few and far between, so you might not get a lot of practice out of that. But give it a shot, just so you're doing the absolute best you can for that player that is waiting on you. So right now I'm making my way downtown, sprinting fast, and I'm bunker bound. And you really can't do anything during this time to assess whether something's going on other than to look and listen. If you wear heavy armor like I do, all you're going to hear is your heavy footfalls. And anybody nearby listening is also going to hear them, so just be aware. Not a lot of cover here. There's really nowhere to run to avoid any incoming fire. And in this area in Connors, you're essentially just strolling right into the bottom of a bowl here. There's a lot of high ground at night, a lot of very, very good spots to perch up with a sniper rifle or an LMG or anything that can, you know, make you crap your pants for a second. So the best you can do is approach quickly, use caution when necessary. You've got a little bit more cover these days with bunkers after the what do they call it? The what is it? Rastar development, where the tool that CIG uses to put up a lot of set dressing on the outside. At least you have something to hide behind, which also means your enemy can use it for cover as well. You know, someone could be coming up right behind me right now. You know, there's a lot of potential, as with a lot of things in Star Citizen. There's a lot of potential for PvP, organic PvP. You know, not prearranged events like Jump Town or I don't know, Star Marine or something. So just a second ago, there's a down body. Here we have an armed cyclone. These are two things you typically don't see outside bunkers unless they're wearing NPC armor, so either the security force armor for that area or Ninetales armor. And then, of course, you see a lot of naked bodies all the time, just a common thing here. Carp's about 7,000 meters out. I've asked them just to circle to check up on those other ships, see if there's any more ships, anyone else hiding or coming into the area. It's Star Citizen. People do not like being denied access to their ships. That's your lifeline, your way to get out without you having to call for help using beacons or, you know, backspace or exit to menu and interrupt your gameplay. So having Carp circle and deny access to anyone's ships is a handy strategy at the moment. Because if I go down, well, now you're stuck in the bunker because they're going to blast your ships apart the moment you come out. Just clearing the corners here. Kind of a clunky way. I'm going to employ a super pro gamer move here. One thing to keep in mind when you're aiming down sights, I know they're about to put this crosshair on the screen, which, come on, you don't, nobody needs that. None of us need that. I'm not a great player. You don't need that. But if you're wearing heavy armor, a lot of armor will block your view down the scope. Sniper rifle, LMG, whatever. Extremely annoying. So just be aware of that, because when you go to fire, you might be looking at an obstructed view, which puts you at a disadvantage. So the pro gamer move I mentioned here was to send the elevator back down with nobody else. If you're down there and you see the elevator go up, you know that there's somebody up there working that terminal. And the expectation is that someone's going to come down. And when they don't, you're going to be confused momentarily, because what kind of idiot would send the elevator down empty? Well, the most likely choke point for this bunker, or all the bunkers really, since they're limited access, only one way in and one way out, is that little vestibule area right off of the elevator. You get something with some splash damage, grenades, what have you, a couple LMGs, and you can hold that point and deny anyone access to the bunker. However, a better strategy would be to draw them into the bunker so that they are away from their escape route, because, you know, one player could just run over and hit that up button, and now you're the one stuck in the bunker and they're holding the high ground. So I'm just going to wait here for a moment and just listen to see if anyone's clunking around. I don't hear anything. I'm going to move up and clear, you know, left to right. Again, to me, this is the most common place someone would set up an ambush. And right there is where they messed up. They moved on the left side, just over that little wall. I saw their gun in their backpack. So we're going to come around the corner. God, I need to learn how to lean. But they're dead. Mission accomplished. The first player is dead. We don't know who else is out here, because this is extremely unusual. You never run into other players in bunkers. especially with hostile intentions. So they got me down to 31 health. This could have gone either way. They're wearing heavy armor. I'm wearing heavy armor. I came with an FS9. They're shooting a whatever that is. And charges came up. I denied them. I'm never going to press charges against people doing actual gameplay. It's stupid. Honestly, it doesn't mean much anyway, so maybe in the future when reputation's a thing. So right about now, I'm telling Carpathius to come down since the front door is clear. And I'm telling the player I just downed, who's talking in chat offering $1 million, that I will revive them once I get Memento up and out of the bunker. There's no need for them to have to backspace and go through the painstaking agony of regearing and claiming ships and all that crap. I'm right here. It's the same reason why you should use beacons. Sure, you might wait a few minutes, but most of the time that time is equal to the amount of time it'll take you to respawn and get back out to what you were doing anyway. So here's Memento in the back. I forgot about this. So I'm going to pull out my magical med gun here. Maybe phone an exorcist to help with this. But I've told Carp, I don't know if you can see the chat, but I've told Carpathius, since another player is coming down with them, I said, hey, keep your gun out and stay behind them so they don't get the drop on you. We don't know if this is the end of the rescue. So they have no gun, and they're not in a hurry to get out. And I finally come to the realization that this was set up by these three players. This is a player-generated gameplay activity. This was not a trap. This was never meant to, get a medic in hot water or anything like that people on Spectrum and Reddit constantly complain about. This was them doing a hostage situation. And I think the other person, not the guy at the front door, but the person who came down with Carpathius there on the right, I think they were supposed to come in and fight the guy at the door. But they were employing a different strategy, since you do have a bit of time before you have to, revive someone. An hour and 30 minutes, something like that. See, look at that. You see the length of that laser? You really need a crosshair on your screen or in a helmet? Just put a laser on. That's it. It's my opinion, but there it is. I mean, if you relegate it to some specific helmets and whatever, but the gun's a straight line. Just pull the trigger. The bullets are going to go where you're pointing. Exercise some controlled bursts. You'll be alright. You don't need something bouncing around the screen to tell you to shoot here. Anyway, we're taking this player out now, and really just to get them away from the player we just revived. I mean, we know now that they're all friends. Everybody's friends here. And, but whatever, This is the original plan. We planned it, now we work the plan, and that's it. So just closing out here, this was an awesome experience. I know watching the video it may seem basic, and by all accounts, it should be a basic experience in Star Citizen. It should be something that's commonplace, but it isn't. You have to struggle. How did I do a thumbs down? Interesting. Sorry. You have to struggle to find ground combat outside of a specific event, an org-arranged event, whatever, SPK. It just doesn't happen. I know experiences may vary, and if anybody listens to this, maybe I'll get slaughtered in the comments, but this is all I do. All I do is spend time on the ground, and I never see another soul unless they're dead. And it's boring. So hopefully in the future, this is a more commonplace thing where players will have the incentive to hold an area, hold a structure, hold a facility organically, not a prearranged quote unquote dynamic event that CIG's created, but just in general, player generated content. And again, beacons are where it's at. This isn't the norm, but beacons are safe, beacons are fun, and you can have a lot of cool content come out of that, a lot of cool experiences. So have fun, send them.